This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the Antoine Dupont of website builders. October 17th, 2017. The Guardian publishes an article that reads as follows. All Blacks dominance threatens the health of international rugby. Never in the history of sport has there been an international team as dominant as the All Blacks. The yawning gap between the All Blacks and the rest of the world threatens to turn Test rugby into a great big yawn. It is not beyond the realms of possibility that they may still remain undefeated until they lift the Webb Ellis Cup again in Japan in 2019. Fast forward a few years, and who knew all the All Blacks needed to bring down their own empire to end the era of utter ascendancy was to piss off Peter O'Mahony. On Saturday, July 19th, 2022, Irish rugby might have seen its proudest ever day, as they did what nobody has ever done in professional rugby before and defeated New Zealand in a 3-test series on New Zealand soil. If Ireland had merely scrapped out 2 victories more similar to their wins in Dublin, it would have been an all-time impressive feat nonetheless. But instead, for around 120 of Test 2 and 3's 140 minutes, Ireland dominated the All Blacks in much the same way the Kiwis themselves did everyone else not so long ago. So, how did Ireland so comfortably crush the All Blacks in those second 2 tests? And from a New Zealand perspective, was this rock bottom, or is this just the start of a free-fall? And all 3 of those tests began with a free-fall themselves. Whilst New Zealand were able to pull it back in game 1, this was 3 successive games where Ireland scored inside the first 5 minutes, and none of them were fluke tries, breakaways, intercepts, or anything other than superbly constructed, well-worked, slick team scores that really set their marker down. And I think Andrew Porter's opening try from the second test demonstrates the difference between the 2 teams perfectly. This begins with New Zealand line-out, but James Ryan disrupts it brilliantly, and then Gibson Park and sentient spike sandwich Peter O'Mahony drive Cody Taylor back almost 15 whole metres. And whilst Ireland pile the pressure on, Metallic does something quite smart. Instead of clearing out, he just blocks Tide Burn getting to the ball, meaning a major jackal threat has to clear him out instead of contesting the ball. It means Papali'i and Fainga'anuku can clear out, and Surveyor can then pick and go. However, as Papali'i gets up from the ruck, instead of herring it to clear out, he retreats to the wing, meaning Fainga'anuku, a winger himself, has to go in and clear out. They're going backwards, so Aaron Smith wisely, correctly, opts to kick, but he doesn't check to see whether he has anyone in place to chase. As such, the laziness of Papali'i means Mac Hansen can take it under no real pressure, there's no one chasing, and take it on his own terms, going forwards. The All Blacks have essentially surrendered the ball in almost exactly the position the line-out took place, and Ireland set shape instantaneously. They're in structure, and whilst Jalbo's Sexlop carries the ball, Doris just plays heads-up rugby. Taylor has shot out the line and totally disconnected from the rest of his defence, and it allows Van der Fleer to batter through the wall like his childhood pet wildebeest Pete, and Ireland's ball is faster than that wildebeest. And just check Robbie Henshaw's line. Tauvau is focused only on him, so when Kane also flies up, Sexwell can isolate him and hit Byrne. And Byrne not only breaks the line, he obliterates it. The Barons actually do a really good job of lining him up and making sure he can't get the pass away, shutting this line break down. But this is no consequence to Ireland. The ball is once again played at Pete speed, and Porter crosses the gain line whilst the other players get into shape again before pulling from their enormous playbook of phase shapes. It's the same move that eventually unlocked the defence 1 week earlier, but instead here it's being used to give Lowe a one-on-one collision, which he wins with ease and generates utterly ludicrously rapid ball. Bowden trusts Surveyor to double job, which is fair considering he's been carrying about half the team on his back this tour, and so steps in for the intercept, trying to bait Sexwelly into the hospital pass to Ringrose, but instead he lobs a perfect pass to Hansen, who can't beat Barrett, but instead offloads to O'Mahony, who somehow keeps it in play brilliantly. Ireland then play in field, then set into what's known as a hit boot shape. This just refers to 2 forwards off Sextry that hit, and then Keenan in the boot is kind of the space directly behind the play. It allows Sexual to select based on the defence. So he hits Keenan, however, Henshaw is Ireland's widest possible man. He's the end of the earth. And when he takes it in, New Zealand figure it's sub-Ireland to keep stretching them blindside, working them in the same direction, something they did all the time in the Six Nations. And it's helped by Caleb Doris spreading to this wing, making a huge song and dance about it, meaning Geordie Barrett goes and starts screaming to watch him. But instead, it's all just a trick to stretch New Zealand. Some lovely interplay hides the real function here, which is just Josh van der Fleer bumping Barrett, meaning Mac Hansen can straighten and Scott Barrett only makes a fairly shit tackle which Surveyor has to finish off, Hansen almost up to the line. George Bauer, meanwhile, has put in maybe the most hilariously pathetic attempt at cheap shot on an opposition 10 you'll ever see, and is so slow to get back into line. He gets caught offside, so Tyburn runs at him, his back is turned, so there's barely a chance he can make a tackle, never mind a dominant one, and it's a guaranteed gain line success for Ireland to play off. But whilst Ireland reset their attacking shape incredibly well, the All Blacks defence is once again kind of lazy. There are only 2 Irishmen on this side, yet 6 All Blacks cover. The only Kiwi who actually falls around to this side of the ruck, where Ireland are actually attacking, is Brodie Retallick, and it means the All Black defence is spread super thin. They don't have the resources to cover this. Keep an eye on Gary Ringrose as well here, right? He starts here and folds around into New Zealand lines outside Keenan, and it means Tupaia is now watching Keenan, assuming the ball is going with him, with Ringrose, Henshaw and Doris all in motion outside him. Instead, Sex Cartoon spies Tupaia's eyes on Keenan and just sends the biggest bloke they've got right into his face. Porter smashes through him and then smashes over for a gorgeously constructed try. Ireland's attack is so impressive because every shape they set has so many options. In this way, it's a lot like everyone's favourite website builder, Squarespace. For Ireland, it's a playmaker, usually Jamhouse X Crisp, but they're increasingly using Mac Hansen or Hugo Keenan to run things too, calling a shape that they want to see from the players around them, whereas for Squarespace, it's offering an incredibly simple interface with easy tools, box outs, countless tools to make it as lovely as possible, to make a beautiful website. And then, just the Irish attack gives every player within that shape multiple options, several people to pass to, as well as carrying themselves. Squarespace, within that interface, gives you so many incredible features, to be utilised to create your perfect website. For some, it might be the store building features. For others, the ease to create a blog, or to create a gallery to showcase a portfolio, a stunning gallery at that. The ability to write pages and pages of articles to showcase stuff you've done in the past. And whereas running the entire Irish attack might be a bit too much, you can do the next best bit, which is sign up to Squarespace, by just clicking the link in the description. You can do it so easily, and even use the offer code SwitchRugby to save yourself some moolah. But there's no such budget approaches on anything about the Irish attack. It's incredibly structured, planned and rehearsed, without ever being robotic, and that makes it pretty sumptuous to watch. Off this scrum, Ireland interestingly send Hugo Keenan in to carry, one of their smaller players, but it means they can save players back. Henshaw is great at clearing out, so it means they will need to sacrifice one forward in Peter O'Mahony, meaning the rest of the pack can charge around the corner as a horrifying unit, battering into the All Blacks. Van der Fleer then pins Surveyor on the ground, but it should be okay, right? Only 3 All Blacks are sucked in here, and 4 Irishmen in the ruck. However, whilst Aaron Smith spots exactly what Ireland have coming and starts screaming at his forces, George Bauer here doesn't listen. So Smith comes in and starts literally slapping him to get him to shuffle and fill the huge gap, fill where he's needed. But he's so lazy, he doesn't. It means Taylor and Lawala then have to watch the 2 forwards, and it leaves this picture, right? David Avili and Bowden Barrett have 5 men to cover between just 2 of them. Barrett makes the decision to go for the intercept, knowing the tighter space means it's more likely that Avili will come in and cover these 3, but this is just where the Irish system comes into its own. One tiny defensive lapse by the All Blacks, and Sex Jones can hit either centre, depending on which of Barrett or Avili is left to do the triple job. Archie bursts through, and Henshaw then scores. But if Bauer listens to his 9, and instead marks someone, he fills in here, and all the All Blacks can move out a little bit, and this try is never scored. In the 1987 Rugby World Cup, this dog ran onto the pitch whilst New Zealand were playing Argentina and did a big piss in the middle of the field.
Oh dear, he's now in front of 35,000 people, a live telecast to Argentina. He has disgraced himself, the dog.
And whilst he was led off the pitch to safety, it seems he's since been hired as the All Blacks defensive coach, because whilst you might commonly hear players refer to their time without the ball as D, with the All Blacks, I'm pretty sure that